The Stephen J. Baum law firm in New York is known as one of those law firms that protects the big banks. They protect, for instance, Citigroup, JP Chase, Bank of America, and they get involved in foreclosures. Okay, in fact, they're known as the foreclosure mill. So last year they had a big Halloween party. They have an annual Halloween party. However, one of the former employees had sent a New York Times writer by the name of Joe Nocera pictures from last year's Halloween party. And what did they do? They dressed up like homeless people and mocked people who just lost their homes.
Keeping it classy, man. Keeping it classy.
So in that picture, you see one of the employees, and it says third-party squatter, and it says, I lost my house and I was never served. And they were referring to people who were foreclosed on, and those people apparently make up excuses like, oh, I was never served any notice, I had no idea, that kind of thing. And they're like mocking those people.
Right. Which, by the way, it turns out some of them were never served because those companies didn't even own the mortgages. So like, ha-ha. We foreclosed your house sometimes when we shouldn't have, and then we made fun of you on Halloween. Keeping it classy.
But they live, like, look, these people live in a bubble. Like, they don't even realize how insensitive this is, right? In their eyes, you know, they totally demonize people who have lost their homes. They think that they're these crazy drug addicts or drunks who are irresponsible and don't know what they're doing. They're completely oblivious to what the reality is. And I think that's the worst part about it, right? They think that this is genuinely funny.
Right. And, you know,
I'm struck by some of the girls there, though. I mean, these humorless, insensitive girls they're a little hot.
Even in their squatter outfits.
Yeah, like the first two. I like those first two.
I guess if you clean them up, put them back in the house.
Yeah.
So now, look, what drove a lot of these foreclosures? Sometimes, of course, people couldn't afford the homes and they were reckless, or sometimes they did it as investment properties, yada yada. So no sympathy for those, especially the guys doing the investment properties, right? But sometimes what drove it is that a company like Countrywide made more money if you put them in, if they put them in a riskier loan. They're like, oh, it's risky, I'm going to make a higher commission, right? But the guy had perfectly good credit. He didn't need a riskier loan. And he didn't need one with a ballooning interest rate. And then they're like, ha-ha, we forgot to tell you, 18 months later, your interest rate is now 20%. Good luck. And then they foreclose on the guy's house, and then at Halloween, they rub it in by making fun of them with hot squatter girls that are just like, ha-ha, yeah, we foreclosed on you.
You know, I don't even care about the principle of why for the purposes of this story. Like whether it was some people obviously bear enormous responsibility for the financial mess that they found themselves in. And millions of Americans, hundreds of, I don't know, many Americans do. And then some don't, and then there's a mix. It doesn't matter. If you take somebody's house, when you put on that costume for Halloween, you should look yourself in the mirror before you go, and you'd be like, yeah, you know what, this isn't cool. I'm not gonna do this. Like, I got it. I don't care the circumstances. I don't care. You know what? Why those people complain? No, I never served, even though they were served and they're lying. They don't want to lose their house. And it's a horrible, horrible thing. So just don't be the lawyers who do it and then mock it. It just makes you a bad person. That's all there is to it. Continue to do your job. I got it. People have that job. It's bad. When you mock it like that, it really says something ugly about you.
Who was the woman that George Bush executed and then laughed about?
Carla Faye Tucker.
Right. It's as if George Bush went in a Carla Faye Tucker outfit.
Totally, right.
One day was like, remember this was the woman I executed.
Yeah, and like even good, hardcore death penalty opponents would be like, hey, George.
Yeah, come on. Like, okay, and maybe you were right in executing her, some would think, like we don't, but some would, right? But I wouldn't mock her.
I wouldn't mock it. Right. I wouldn't mock the desire of someone to stay alive, and I wouldn't mock the desire of someone to do all they could to stay in their home. It's just, you're not cool. That's all there is to it.